Hi, welcome to the Peace Run podcast number 3. Today we'll be speaking with Suhasini and Pragati, talking about the beginning and the end of the remarkable Southern Hemisphere Peace Run, an event or a relay which encircled the globe, the Southern Hemisphere, visiting 44 countries in the Southern Hemisphere, starting and finishing in the amazing and beautiful island of Bali. I remember I saw you, Suhasini, giving the torch to Chok Aceh at the beginning. Like, that was the very first thing of the Southern Hemisphere Peace Run. And now, having seen, this journey that went through 44 countries, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that?
The thing, I felt so honored. Yeah, at that time, I think we were looking for either Sansan or Putu, our local coordinators, and also their children, but we couldn't find them anywhere because I believe they were busy, handling the VIP. So I feel so lucky, to be the first one to hold the torch and then pass it down to Bapak Chok Aceh.
What was the significance? They went on that ceremonial bullock cart being towed around?
That one, I think it's more towards the culture, like the welcoming culture. Like Bali, traditionally, we are famous as agriculture. And being plowing, I think deep inside, we just want to plow the peace.
Oh, really? So Pragati, what for you was the significance of starting in Bali?
Bali, it's a place of very deep feelings about peace. It's known as a very spiritual place, and it is a very spiritual place. And so it was significant that we could bring, the peace torch from Bali to the rest of the world to kind of share that peace all around the world.
You've been on peace runs in America and in, a number of different countries that we've visited. What do you find unique about Bali?
Bali is a very, very special place. I mean, every country, like in the U.S., you really feel the heart of the people. But in Bali, people are so much in their hearts. And the whole culture, the whole community, the government, the religious leaders, they are so open to the idea of the peace run and of everyone sharing peace. And everyone embraces it on such a big level that you don't really experience that. I've never experienced it anywhere else in the world, the way that the peace run is embraced in Bali.
What do you think, Suhasini?
Like being grown up in Bali, you have these two facets of life. Like one is being traditional and the other way is being modern. The traditional way, like our parents will send us to do different cultural activities. Like for me, for example, I went to dance class, and then until a certain age when I felt like the dance movement is getting harder, I gave up. But that's the thing. We try to keep everything in balance between the traditional and the modern time.
Senari Loka, the school that we visited, they played a really big role for the start and the finish. How did you get in touch with them?
Somehow we just end up, being in Sunari Loka, and then just asking the principal at that time whether he's willing to be participating on that particular event. But one thing that I noticed when I entered into the school, I saw on their trophy, how do you call it? They have a lot of trophies for their achievement, like school achievement, and one of them, they won the best choir competition. So for me, this is it, But at that time, we also need someone to keep in touch with the school. And that's why Kanyaka came in, because at that time, the three of us were looking for the schools, And I think it's also Tilfila's idea to ask the school choir not only to sing like the Indonesian song or Balinese song, but also to sing like switching my song. So the ball is rolling from there on. And
Wow.
that's why we include them for the Peace Run and also for the grand finale as well.
I was amazed by the sort of level of preparation. Did you have any idea that that was going to take place? They were sort of so enthusiastic.
Personally, I have no clue. I think Kanyaka knows some of it, and I think the school, they're just so eager to perform. Besides that, this is the thing, the harvest of their hard works, balancing between their traditional life, like, learning the Balinese dance and also the gamelan, and also like practicing their English skills. So this is like a very good example of how children can balance their life. Yeah.
When we all go as international peace runners and they perform like that, and they do such a wonderful job. Like, what do you feel?
Yeah, I'm so proud. Yeah, of them. Like, they really take it as the outer expression of the peace that they feel inside. And as for me, Peace Run is a very special event, because at this time, not only the children can show their talents, but it's also like their way to express whatever they feel inside through dance, through music, through paintings, through everything. So bless them. Yeah.
Take us through what they did, Pragati. Like, what were the things that happened on that day?
It was such an amazing day, and I think many of us felt like it was completely fitting as the grand finale. Like, oh my God, it just couldn't have been any more amazing. And they did it themselves. It was their inspiration. They have this annual parade that they do through the streets of Kuta, and they decided this year to dedicate it, completely to the Peace Run. And all the alumni come, and they had a marching band, a marching gamelan. The kids were dressed up in their big fancy dancing costumes, like gods and goddesses. They had Hanuman, the monkey god, who is a symbol of like devotion and service. He was leading the parade, holding the torch. It was just incredible. And it was actually a big parade. It was, full of music and joy. And the Peace Run had a delegation marching in the parade, with our flags and our uniforms. But there were a lot of people in the parade. They made their own uniforms. The staff had T-shirts embroidered with the Peace Run logo. They did so much preparation. They made all these banners, just for the occasion. And it was a long parade through the whole streets of Kuta, and the townspeople were lining the streets. All the shopkeepers were, thumbs up. And the principal himself, we started, taking the torch and having people along the route holding it. Then the principal grabbed the torch, and he himself was like taking the torch and having people, the shopkeepers hold the torch. And he was getting so much joy from like, kind of leading the thing. And so then the parade went through all of downtown Kuta, which was, a big bustling area, down to the beach, and it's a beautiful beach. And then they had a huge program organized. It took hours. It was like a 5-hour program, and all the local officials came and gave speeches. And we had our part of the program where we did our Peace Run kind of ceremony, leading the kids. And then the kids perform their traditional dances. It's just amazing that that they all participate in the cultural life of the community. That these kids learn these incredible dances and performances, and they sang this the songs, the New World of Peace, in 3 languages, and it was just fantastic.
Because we had heard there was going to be a turtle release, and I've seen dove releases, so I didn't really know. And we all line up with this tub of I guess salt water with a little turtle, a baby turtle, inside, and then you sort of tip all the water out, and the little turtle comes out, and he scampers into the ocean.
And then it culminated they called it a twilight kind of ceremony. It was just coming around to the sun was setting over the ocean. It was just spectacularly beautiful. And many, many people from the village came down at that point, to watch. And everyone, sat on the sand on the beach watching the sunset. And they had like an altar made, like a shrine with the torch in the middle, like it was a sacred object. And the torch was there. First Hanuman and the different gods and goddesses kind of danced with the torch, and then they put the torch in the middle, and they gave each person seated there a little candle, a deep, and everyone held their candle, and then people started spontaneously putting their candles like on the shrine, on the altar. It was such a beautiful kind of spontaneous ceremony, and that was the conclusion. It was just incredibly beautiful.
Peace Run.